As I have already mentioned in the first part of this evaluation question about creating links with the CBBC, in general the BBC would consider distributing my charity and its issue. The reason for this would be that the issue is a taboo in society and in general needs to be made more apparent to members of the public. The BBC could incorporate my issue of child witnesses of domestic violence into any of its British TV dramas and soaps that it features. As the CBBC channel is aimed at my primary audience of children and young teens, the BBC could use my issue, even after the watershed, to inform my secondary audience of adults and older teens of the issue, in the same way that the CBBC would use it. Examples of programmes may be EastEnders and Waterloo Road, which are two extremely popular programmes with teens and adults shown on the BBC. Having such a huge media institution like the BBC, whose programmes would be influenced by my issue, would raise awareness of the issue nationally, if not globally. However, the BBC could not use my charity video to advertise my charity on its channels due to its review and standard guidelines it has to follow. As the BBC is funded by the National Television Licence, it could not use advertising to pay for imports of shows or the creation of them, preventing advertisements to be shown between programmes that do not involve the work of the BBC. Charity-wise on the BBC, a huge charity event that was created and broadcasted by the BBC is called Children in Need. Children in Need is the BBC's UK charity and it aims to change the lives of the disabled children and young people within the UK. Children in Need supports and advertises a range of different charities, one in which could be my own.
Together, we can help give children the childhood they deserve. Start by ordering your free BBC Children in Need fundraising pack today.
The charity video for Children in Need highlights its aims of making the lives of children better, an aim that my charity has too. By making links with Children in Need, my charity would become national and would be familiar to more people, raising awareness of the issue. Also, my charity would receive more donations because of the awareness Children in Need would have raised of my charity. In order to make this link with the BBC for the Children in Need charity, I would have to go online to the Children in Need website and apply for a grant where there is an application form which is downloadable or resendable by email. Another media institution that could incorporate my issue into its programmes would be Channel 4. Contrasting from the BBC, Channel 4 do not have any guidelines to follow and therefore tend to air more entertaining programmes rather than informative documentaries as well. Channel 4 could do the same as the BBC with its soaps, such as in Hollyoaks, whereby my issue could influence a character's background or a particular episode. Also, as Channel 4 can advertise, my charity video could also be aired between programmes or during breaks to raise awareness of my issue and essentially my charity. My charity would fit the ethos of the channel as it's a mainstream channel that targets both teenagers and adults. By creating links with various drama groups such as the Helen O'Grady Academy, productions about my issue could be created and performed, raising awareness of the issue and also raising money for the charity through donations and tickets. Also, as the productions become more popular, other Helen O'Grady Academies can get involved from different areas, raising more awareness and donations for my charity. Another media institution I could use to distribute my media product would be the use of social networking sites. For example, the use of Facebook. During my research, I Facebook messaged an American charity called the Children of Domestic Violence, that supports the child witnesses of domestic violence for advice. As many people now use social networking, by creating my own Facebook page for my charity, it would open up my charity to attract more people of both my primary and secondary audience. It would also give people another place, as well as my charity website, to contact the charity directly if they feel they needed to. In terms of creating links with an individual to advertise and distribute my media product, I began to research different celebrities to see whether they themselves had been affected by the issue of domestic violence. Jermaine Douglas was an X Factor finalist contestant of 2012. Jermaine has now been asked to become an ambassador for Women's Aid charity, as he watched his mother be repeatedly beaten by his father when he was growing up. By having a celebrity who faced this issue of being a witness of domestic violence would raise awareness of the issue if they were to be the face or ambassador of my charity. This would attract my primary audience and encourage children to come forward and not try to ignore the issue, as it highlights how domestic violence can affect all different types of people from all different walks of life, even celebrities. By contacting Jermaine and explaining the work of my charity, as the issue is personal and close to home for him, he would more likely agree to help in the fundraising of my charity, raising its awareness, or even endorsing it as the face of forgotten children. Overall, by creating links with media institutions who would want to distribute my media product, it would raise awareness of the issue and also of my charity, making it more familiar to members of the public, essentially receiving more donations and more people wanting to get involved, which will benefit my charity.